While American mothers can't find baby formula, and while our border is being completely invaded every single day, and fentanyl is flooding across and killing Americans, but Congress thinks it's their job to fund $40 billion of your hard-earned tax dollars to Ukraine.
All right, joining us now to talk more about this is Congressman Troy Nehls from Texas. Congressman, great to have you with us. And I know you also voted no on this bill. Tell us why.
No, I did because number one, it's $40 billion. I think Marjorie stated it quite clear that, what about the American people? What about America first? And quite honestly, I didn't support it because I don't believe this administration really has a true exit strategy. I mean, when does it stop? So what we do is we open up the checkbook and we just continue to write checks and provide financial assistance in the tunes of billions, tens of billions of dollars. But I don't believe this administration has come up with what is the end state? What is the ultimate goal? Is it to slow down Putin? Is it to make sure that he doesn't go into Poland? I don't think they have a clear strategy other than, well, let's just throw money at it. Well, if we continue to throw money at it, John, are we eventually then going to be charged with rebuilding the country? And what's irritating about all this is the fact that under Donald Trump, Putin never went in to Ukraine. The only reason Putin went into Ukraine is because we have a weak leader. And our adversaries take advantage of weak leadership. We had it with Obama when they went into Crimea in 2014. Nothing happened under Donald Trump because he kept Putin in check. And now we got a weak president, and this is what he did. Putin took advantage of the weakness we have in Biden. That's it.
Weakness is always provocative, and we see what's happening here. I want to talk more about, too, where President Biden is when it comes to his messaging now, and as it relates to inflation. He continues to use this term ultra-MAGA GOP while he talks about inflation. Here's the president yesterday.
First is we're in power. That's the first thing. And you justifiably right, we control all three branches of the government. Well, we don't really, and they know that a lot of it's extremely complicated. And so they're frustrated, and I don't blame them. I think what I have to do is explain in simple, straightforward language what's going on.
That's some of the rhetoric he's using in addition to the ultra-MAGA talk. I mean, maybe he's right, though, if he would just stop lying about reducing the deficit and Republicans raising taxes in a straightforward way, he might be able to gain some traction with the American public. But they're not buying it because we have this poll here from CNN. 55% of Americans believe that Joe Biden has worsened these economic conditions. Maybe he should just start saying the opposite of everything he's been saying. And doing the opposite. Yeah,
my message to Joe is you're not very complicated. You're just very confused, quite honestly. When you look at the polls, his approval ratings in the toilet, I think, 36% of Americans agree with his Biden's economic policies. And the attack on MAGA, and everything's about Donald Trump. I can assure you this. When Joe Biden wakes up in the morning, whenever he gets up, he's thinking about Donald Trump. When he goes to bed at night, he's thinking about Donald Trump. He's doing everything he can to reverse everything Donald Trump did in the 4 years when we had the greatest economy, the most secure border. Everything was on cruise control under Donald Trump. And so what did Biden do? He went in and reversed everything, whether it's the Keystone Pipeline, whether it's the border. And so we have a crisis everywhere you turn in America. It's because this president puts the American people last. He's going to reverse everything that Donald Trump did, knowing everything was good. But he doesn't mind hurting the American people. He has to get rid of his ego and his attitude and his hatred towards Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump was one of the greatest presidents we've ever had, and Joe Biden goes in there and just turns it over on its head, and now look at us. Inflation, 8.3%. I don't have to go through all these, John. Your viewers know, we have a crisis at every corner in this country. We have a crisis in Ukraine, the southern border, inflation, gas prices. Oh, Sleepy Joe, understand this. Democrats buy gas, too. They do pay $4 for fuel.
Yeah, they feel it. Americans feel it.
And it's going to crush you.
The CPI numbers came out today, Congressman. We don't need the CPI numbers to tell us how bad inflation is. We all feel it every single day when we go to the grocery store or the gas station. But talking about these kind of costs and where Congress should work on saving money, this was something that a lot of people didn't realize happened, but the House passed a resolution that's going to allow staffers to begin unionizing for the first time in the history of Congress. You know, what's interesting here, too, I'm sure you know this, a lot of people don't, but public sector unions cost taxpayers sometimes $175 million a year from what I've seen. There was a study done by Americans for Prosperity that looked at this. In 2016, federal employees spent 3.6 million working hours on taxpayers' dime. So if we have staff members of Congress now unionizing, that can't be good for the American public.
I don't believe it is, John, and it's really going to be up to the individual member's office. I will be one of those that say no, my staff will not be unionized here. You will be at will, and you will continue to be that way as long as I represent the Texas 22nd District. So, but this is what they want to do. It's all about unions. Joe Biden's paying back all the unions with some of his policies, and it's just irresponsible. But, you know, when he said yesterday to that reporter that he feels that his policies help people, they don't hurt people, I got to ask him, who does he really feel he's helping in America? I don't know who he's helping.
Hunter.
As I stated, Democrats need to buy fuel. They need food. They need baby formula. Come on. He's not helping anybody.
Well, the Biden economy has been very good for Hunter Biden, and that's about it. Congressman, great to see you. Thanks so much. Congressman Troy Nehls from Texas.
John,
great talking to you.
Thank you. God bless you and your listeners, viewers.